Does TTIP matter to your company?
TTIP matters. We want to improve trade relations across the Atlantic, and it will help our employees and our customers and reduce tariffs across the board.
We're seeing an awful lot of opposition, a lot of NGO action against TTIP. There's a huge Stop TTIP movement. Would you be happy with a TTIP light solution?
We would prefer a comprehensive agreement. Lowering tariffs is not the only part of the game. We would like to look at public procurement, opening the public procurement sectors across the Atlantic and here. That would help us enormously. So TTIP light is not the only answer.
One of the problems that business is facing is there's a chronic lack of trust in business at this moment. We've seen defeat devices in cars. We've seen banks lose a lot of credibility. We've seen other corporate scandals. Are you a credible interlocutor?
I think we are. We employ people, we sell good products to our customers, and we want to make the society improve through the interaction. It's not only about scandals, it is about contributing to society, and that's what business does too.
René van Sloten, you represent Cefic here today. Would TTIP help Europe's chemicals industry?
Definitely would help our industry. The USA is our most important trading partner. We export 31 billion euro worth of chemicals to the United States, import 23, so we have a positive trade surplus of 8 billion. Our companies are present on both sides of the Atlantic, and there's a huge benefit for also SMEs that can stand to gain from, let's say, getting simpler procedures when trade with the United States, elimination of the chemical import duties, for example, regulatory cooperation, customs procedure, all that could benefit the industry and make us more competitive.
Are you able to put a figure on that in terms of jobs? And how many people does the current chemical industry employ? Have you got a figure on that?
Yeah, no, we employed 1.2 million people directly, and I would say every job in the chemicals industry creates 2 to 3 jobs downstream in other sectors of the economy. So if the chemical industry thrives in a region, it can also help create other jobs, bring growth, reduce cost for other sectors, and help Europe make more competitive.
Big concern coming from the NGOs is the dilution of regulation. Regulations that are there for good reasons, to protect consumers, to protect the environment. Is there a danger that TTIP will dilute the strong protection that we have in Europe?
Indeed, we have the regulatory systems in the USA and Europe differ profoundly. There's this fear, and we are aware of these concerns. However, I should really stress that what is on the table within TTIP now is all working within the existing systems, so within TSCA in the US and within REACH and its implementation in Europe. So there will be no dilution of the standards of protection in Europe. We will continue to maintain the high standards that we have in Europe. REACH will not be affected. The precautionary principle will continue to apply as before. So I think these concerns are all unfounded. The negotiation text also provides for all these safeguards that there will be no lowering of standards. So I'm confident that we can have worthwhile regulatory cooperation within the existing systems, maintaining the high standards.
Finally, when do you think we'll see a deal on this? John Kerry, when he came to Brussels, said he would like to see progress by the end of the year. Is that realistic?
Let me put it this way. Whether we will succeed by the end of this year, that would be wonderful. But if not, I think what is the most important thing is that quality prevails over time. I would rather see a high standard, ambitious TTIP agreement concluded, even if in 2-3 years' time, if necessary, than a rushy TTIP being negotiated that is a TTIP light. That I would not like to see.
TTIP goes beyond the trade in goods. It goes into services. What does that mean for Europe?
Well, Europe is already more than 75% of all GDP in services. In America, it's even 79%. So services is about the daily life of all Europeans. We talk about trade, about goods, but there is much, much more than that. And we are doing insurance, telecom, professional services, IT, all the transport services, all of that is services. So there are much more services than actually goods. And the services are actually helping the goods to get value added, and the services are actually helping the export of European and American goods to be exported not only between our two blocks, but also outside. So absolutely crucial, much more important than what we believe. 42% of all export of of the United States to the EU is about services, and 35% of our export to the US is services. So it's huge.
There's a lot of disquiet, particularly among NGOs, about the dispute settlement procedure. Does this undermine democracy, European regulation?
I think there is a lot of misunderstanding about this issue, and it is not about giving a possibility for big multinationals to attack the European states. It's about giving the possibility to interpret provision in an international treaty about a company being expropriated or losing possibility of doing business because a measure has been taken by a local authority. And the only thing that this system is putting into place is to have the possibility to get redress. It is not about preventing regulation to be adopted, not at all. It's just getting compensation if a company is expropriated. So there is much debate about private justice and private judges. It is not at all the case. I think there are complete misunderstanding of what this issue is.
Finally, why do you think it is difficult to get this message across to the wider public? We see politicians being somewhat reluctant to come out fully in favour of TTIP.
Well, I think people like to have slogans and easy tasks. International trade is not about local elections, so it's easy to criticize something which is far away from them. And that is something we really are not happy with. It is diminishing the value of Europe, and that is not good either, because trade policy is about a common policy. But now, why this anti-TTIP, it does not have any real good arguments. We are creating jobs, and I don't think people like to lose their jobs. Actually, we have see strikes in the street when a company is closing door, but when we're creating jobs, nobody's saying bravo. So we are, in any case, always criticized, so it's always a difficult task.